All right, hey YouTube, how you doing? It's Max. So this is gonna be another update video for the RPG Maker game. Um, there's been a lot of updates recently to what I'm doing. I'm just gonna kind of go through a couple of them. In the past, or these past couple of videos, I've kind of been like showcasing one thing I've worked on, but there's kind of a lot to, I guess, kind of go through in this right now. I think we'll start with these fire pits. So there's this character I have, Addy, who's down here, and pretty much this is kind of like a one-time game kind of thing. One time, kind of, I guess it's more like a quest. And I'm starting to incorporate unlocking a lot of the player characters that you play through. So Addy is one of them. I don't know if I want this to be like her event, because I feel like I need to add more. I guess, of a storyline to these, but just for the purposes of putting something in the game for now where you can unlock the character, I have Addy down here, and pretty much her whole quest is to light 16 beacons across the map. So you can kind of see one right here, and it's pretty much just like it's not really a beacon, it's more of a brazier. If you think of like in Lord of the Rings when they're lighting the braziers on top of like mountains to like signal to different I guess settlements. This is sort of what that is, and it's kind of just like I put 16 of these things just throughout the world, kind of along like in a circle around the world. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to go find a tree like this. I've put like a bunch of trees in the world. There's only like these unique trees that give you wood. These big trees are more just barriers, but these small trees will, similar to in the tutorial, you cut it down, you collect the wood, and then you can go light the brazier with your tinderbox and stuff like that. And once you unlock the 16, or you light the 16, you go talk to Addy again, and she'll join your party. And so there's I added a couple of them, like a PC at the duel arena kind of thing in Doriconia, the tournament style one where you have to fight like sports teams essentially. So if you beat like certain number of those, then another guy will join your party. Same with the fight caves with the wave base where there's 62 waves or 63 waves. If you get to a certain point, then another person joins your party. So I want to incorporate a lot of those kinds of things where you can unlock new party members to sort of build a cast of characters for your team. Um, so that's pretty much that. I'm not gonna showcase it because it might take a long time for me to actually beat it, just because I'd have to like go and chop down like 16 trees and then go run around the map and light them all. But like, there's one here, there's one up here, there's one up here, and so they just kind of circle. Like these are just along the river. Um, so there's that. I've been working on creating the PCs, so you can kind of see here. I've had different PCs before, but I think how I'm going to do it going forward is Cyrus is going to be the starting PC. So you can change his name, do whatever you want, but there isn't going to be a female option to start with because pretty much there's going to be different characters that you can unlock throughout the game. So having like, you could play as Addy once you unlock Addy, and that could be your PC that goes and walks around the map. So there's Addy, Bannock, Kelly, Kenny, Sydney, who I'm kind of debating on right now. She's kind of a placeholder. I made myself as one of the PCs that helps you in Tutorial Island. Devin and Tira, and I had to go into Photoshop and make Tira's eyes heterochromatic. Um, but yeah, so those are kind of the PCs for now. I might add more, um, but I think you can pretty much collect all of them except for a couple of them uh, at the current state of the game. Um, Something else that I've been kind of like working on is the weapon system. So for the skills, I've been trying to come up with like there's the six basic classes, and each has a weapon. So you've got your clubs for your tanks, your swords for your fighters, your daggers for your rogues, your bows for your rangers, your staffs for your mages, and your tomes for your supports. and I was looking at making 6 tiers of weapons, just that would upgrade throughout, your adventures. You would kind of start with the tier one ones, and then as you progress, you can unlock tier two, then tier three, tier four, tier five, tier six, and then by that point, you should be able to defeat all the bosses pretty easily. Um, and this is kind of where I'm kind of at this crossroads of how I want to structure the game. Do I want it to be like um, something where like some content is basically like gate kept by your weapons, or do I want, because weapons is a good progression system, but then there's also level ups, which is also a good progression system, and then trying to consider like what's a kind of player friendly progression system where you don't want to make some of the weapons too grindy, but then some players like really grindy methods. And I think I want this game to mostly be approachable to most people coming into it. So if you come across like a cool mini game, I don't want that to be like dozens of hours of content you have to grind in order to get to that mini game. Sort of like how a lot of this is based on like RuneScape, right? So like RuneScape, there's like some content that is like hundreds of hours you have to grind, and I kind of want to shy away from that and just make most things that you can kind of do. But then there's like if you do grind, you can like either do it way more efficiently or you can get better rewards. I'm not really sure how I want to structure that, but I have these 6 kinds of tiers of weapons that I'm going to be starting to work on. Uh, for that those kinds of purposes. And while I'm on this subject, there's another thing that I'm kind of thinking about revamping about the tutorial. Currently in the tutorial, it's this system where if you're doing like the cooking, you'd have to go to the cooking place and cook that way. Um, I'll just go to the tutorial because that was a bad explanation. So if I go to this tutorial and you're doing this little thing, you have to chop down the tree, you have to fish the fish, and you have to cook it on the fire pit. Same in here, you have to collect the wheat, you have to collect the water, and then you have to make the bread dough, all that stuff. What I'm thinking about doing is having it so that you don't need to necessarily use the fire pit here. Like, I guess you could use the fire pit if you're in the wilderness and there's a fire pit nearby. You could use the cooking range if you're in town and there's a cooking town nearby. Sorry, that was Sasha. I didn't know she was peeing or not in the house. But then like a third method, kind of like when you're going to craft your weapons down in the dungeon here. Currently, I have it set to where you have to smelt the ore on these furnace rocks, and I kind of want to make it so that you don't have to do that anymore. You can just kind of craft it in your menu screen, and then kind of create the weapons that way. That would also free me up an asset to use. Like I could create like lava weapons by like mining lava rocks or something like that. So that's something I kind of want to do. Also, I think it just kind of streamlines the process a bit because having some things where like you have to find one of these things to craft it versus um, finding like a uh, just crafting in your menu. But I do think that maybe I'll keep these as options. Maybe not this one, but like the cooking stuff, because I don't think I'll use these assets for anything else, like the fire pit or the stove. I think that that's just like there's nothing else to use those assets for, so I'll keep those. But maybe if you craft it in your menu, there'll be like a gold fee, and it's like you use magic to craft it, and maybe something along those lines. Um, Hopefully that will make sense once it's made, but that's kind of one of the things I'm looking to do. And then another thing that I've been kind of working on, and this is kind of going back to the whole like creating the PCs for unlocking them and stuff like that. Where did I put? I think it might be in D actually. So I made this small town Salem, which is in this kind of, it's like Doriconi is to the north. You've got Thylanus to the west, and you've got Hallowhane to like the south, east, and pretty much there's this town here. And I wanted it to kind of be like I kind of want to do this with all the PCs, just have this like small town where they're kind of from. And so Tira is here, and there's like this orphanage that she lives in, and you've got like the local pub kind of place. You've got some lore stuff going on over here. And then you've got, it's two buildings that'll fill in eventually, and then the orphanage. And pretty much this whole town is like, it's named Salem for like Salem witch trials. And so there's this people that I kind of highlighted in my 128 like NPCs video, where I made this like this slave. I don't know why McAfee's coming up. But there's like these like slave people, right? And like there's like vampires who like are kind of like using them as like blood banks or like blood livestock. And so I'm kind of hinting at like Tira has this Old Maid blood, right? And so some of her ancestors might be Old Maid, and that's kind of like relating to this whole crypts. Where was it? That mini game that was based off Barrows. That might be down here. Yeah, these like burial grounds. So like these would be like the Old Maid ancestors, and so Tira is there's so many maps. Tira is, stuck at this orphanage and is reading about these Old Maid people, and wants to go visit the Old Maid burial grounds. And pretty much, in order to get Tira on your team, you have to have completed one of that mini game. So you would have had to loot one of those chests, and then you can go back to her, and she'll be like, "Oh, you've looted one of those chests. You know about the Old Maid. Let me join you, and you can take me there and stuff like that." So that's kind of like how to unlock Tira for the time being, and then kind of have like some other rooms. So like this would be like the orphanage, like downstairs, so you can talk to like other orphans and other like caretakers. You can see kind of like their living arrangements, and like the this is like, I guess, their like church thing. Tira doesn't want to live inside of her bedroom that she shares with two other orphans, so she sleeps in this shed. This is just the local tavern, and then if you go to the actual town again, you can talk to some of the prisoners and see why they're like kind of being captured. You can talk to some of the guards and see that they're kind of related to Castle Guard. So kind of some like world building stuff there. Might do some things with these like tombstones, and then there's a unique kind of well, it says wheat. This is actually just kind of like cabbage or something. So like a unique plant that you can only kind of get here for right now. So just trying to create these like little pockets of like activity things to do to flesh out the world a bit. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all the updates as of right now. I was gonna like make individual videos for some of these, but I felt like it was just kind of more efficient to like talk about them all at once, because I don't know. I feel like I, I want to get back to like programming the game, and like, so I didn't want to make like multiple videos kind of explaining every single thing. I just kind of want to get back to it and try to flesh it out a bit more. But just provide like an update. So yeah, that's what this is. And if you're on video 20, whatever this is, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a good day. Bye.